Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFLW Fantasy Fanatics Pre-Lockout Chat ahead of round 9 of the AFLW Fantasy season. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow AFLW Fantasy Fanatic, Tom Hales. Tom, mate, how are you? How's your week been so far?
Week's been good. Looking forward to a weekend of AFLW footy and my cricket club's annual beer pong competition on Saturday night. So hopefully I can retain my crown I won 2 years ago and lost last year. So that's the big focus of this weekend for me.
Yeah, so what did you say you've got on Saturday night? I might not have cut.
My cricket club's beer pong tournament.
Okay. Beer pong tournament. Yeah, I don't drink too much
I don't condone drinking in any way, shape, or form. I might be a bit hungover on a Sunday night.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how we go. Hopefully, if you are hungover, hopefully your team has done well, so you're happy.
Exactly.
But joining us is a special guest, and he's jumped on a few times this season. We're very grateful for his time, but he's a good friend of the show, Jono from Free Kick, the official AFLW Fantasy podcast. Jono, mate, welcome. How's your weekend been? Sorry, week been, not weekend. We haven't hit the weekend yet.
Yeah, no, it's been a good week. It's been a busy week, I have to say. But yeah, no, riding the high of being at a high rank. And yeah, I'm also going to be struggling Sunday night. I'm doing the Melbourne Marathon 10K on Sunday. And I also don't condone running in any way, shape, or form. So it's going to be a struggle for me to get through, but fun times. Yeah.
Exactly. But you said you're at a high rank. For those listening at home, I'm sure that they have heard on the Free Kick. But just again, you can boast about it. You can behave about it. Where are you currently ranked after round 8?
Yeah, no, I had a good week. I've jumped up to 27th overall, and I think it's only a couple hundred really off top spot now. So I don't know. Things are starting to get serious. I'm looking at things way too intensely this week, so it's been pretty fun.
Have you had a look at a potential highlights color? What you might do with it if you're lucky enough to get up to that spot? Is that something you might be looking at, or are you just?
No. I'm not that close. I'm more just hoping to see, what are the differentiators I need. And it's annoying because some of the players that I'm like, oh, Maeve Chaplin, what a unique, not amongst the top 10, really, really highly owned up there. So. It's going to be interesting. I need some random players to pop for me.
Yeah.
Oh, can you win the high looks?
I don't think so. We'll find out.
I'm sure I can see. But no, I was thinking because Tom was looking down. I was like, I hope I didn't open up any sort of scars or anything like that with highlights colors. But anyways, move swiftly on from that one. So boys, round 9.
Don't get my hat.
Number 2 on the side of it, mate. Go get. I'd rather you wear that hat than the England cricket team hat, which no one on the show besides you'll be wanting them to win. So we'll have to see how that goes. But boys, month to go left the season. Round 9 is upon us tonight with the Bulldogs and Essendon at Whitten Oval. So looking forward to that one. But with a month left to go, obviously fix up trades, but cash is tight as it has been for a number of weeks now. And Neve McLaughlin dropping 200K. Again, thank you very much, Rhys Shaw, for your wonderful coaching, putting the smallest player on the ground at full forward. But we're losing 200K there. Other players dropping 100K here and 50K there. And it's going to be struggling, John, as you mentioned, like Chaplin is someone that's owned amongst those top coaches. But a lot of us normal folk can't afford someone like a Maeve Chaplin or whatever. So what are you looking at doing with your trades this week?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options, and I'm still a bit undecided. But with McLaughlin in the backline and Brie Conan, I think like a lot of people, I'm looking at those backline upgrades. So for the moment, I'm still looking at getting Maddie Gay in and probably Emma Carney on the other side so I can help afford it. But there's a small part of me that really wants to try and fix up Taylor Smith in the forward line as well because, that's also a potential problem on the horizon that I can't keep riding that forever. So.
Yeah. Who is there a forward target or a couple that you'd be looking at potentially for Taylor Smith? Or
yeah, I think if I was going up, I would be going either to Malloy or to Imogen Barnett, who are not too expensive. But if I still want to get in Maddie Gay, I think I'd need to go down at least 50K. So I'd be looking at a Laura Stone type.
Yes. Yep. And that's someone I will ask you about in a sec, along with a couple other Hawks, because they've got a good matchup coming up this week. Tom, what are you looking at doing with your trades? Because I know you have been conflicted about one player, whether you're going to be holding or sorry, apologies, Nathan. you should be trading or spading. That's part of
Yeah. So I have Liam's favourite, Brittany Gutnecht. She's going to go 75 plus this week. It wasn't just Liam. I did it too. But Piper Window's my big conundrum this week. As she scored exactly 0 in my side last week. Whether to trust the fact that she's on the plane, she's named, and with the Port Adelaide outs, that she's going to have a good role. Or do I get off it? Do I have a stress-free weekend and trade her out? So the 2 trades that I'm definitely doing are Piper's Unlocked down, probably to tipping. I kind of want a playing player just because I don't need the red dot. And I'm going to do Neve McLaughlin up to Tilly Lucas Rod, someone I don't own who I think is going to be very good for the rest of the year. And to do that, I need a little bit of money. So my 2 options are doing Window to Stone, or I could do Annabelle Johnson down to Charlotte Wilson. So it's either or. I haven't quite decided yet. At the minute, I'm holding Window purely because their break-evens are quite similar. And I think Stone's ceiling it has shown to be a little bit capped just through time on ground and just going missing through the games. Not that Piper Window has shown anything extra, just she's 100k more expensive on field and might be easier to get to somebody else next week rather than siphoning that cash off my field.
Yeah. And that's people that tuned in on Sunday night, I was fairly confident I was going to be trading out Piper Window this week, but if you like the factors of Abby Dowrick and Kirsty Lamb both out injured, that just probably puts it back in the court of, okay, Window's got a low enough break even. She may make a bit of cash. She should have a pretty good role. Maybe her Tom Grant's managed. Maybe it's 65, 70, 75%. Maybe it's not around the 80%. Maybe it's a bit lower. But I think it'd be more often than not a pure midfield role. Maybe a stint or 2 forward, but I think that role will be pretty good. Tough match against Brisbane, but as in a forward line, I think I'm holding. So in terms of my trades at the moment, Dunlop will be going down to, haven't decided if it's Pasenko or tipping. I don't really think it matters because I don't think either are going to make a whole bunch of cash. So I think it won't really matter. Then I'll be going Wardlaw slightly down to Aileen Gilroy in a good matchup this week against Gold Coast and had a few CBAs and looked pretty good in the second half last week. And then Neve McLaughlin up to Maddie Gay. So slightly changed from, I think Malloy was coming in and Emma Carney. I think I've pivoted to Maddie Gay coming in. But Jono, I'll quickly firstly ask you about Pipe Window. Obviously, Tom was tossing up Window. Do you sit more in the camp of holding or trading? And then we'll get to Corey's super chat, which he's put in there.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty complicated question because obviously the laid out has really hurt a lot of coaches, and it's not like they weren't listed on the injury report. Like they're still there. They're still a test. It is a bit unnerving. I think I'm in the camp of holding, and it's sort of on the basis of a couple things. The main one would be that I do think if they play, even though it's against Brisbane, they're going to have the right role and they should score okay. So I think if it pays off, then it's good. I also think that the chance that they don't play is probably a lot lower than it is the chance that they do play. And I kind of like the idea of just like, if you get hurt by 2 late outs in a row, that's up to the fantasy gods. And if that costs you your season, so be it. Like I like to play the odds. And if things are going to go well, like if I spend all my time trying to avoid the late out, then my team's not going to get any better at a pretty crucial time of year. So I think this is the point where I'm just happy to commit to it. Having said that, I don't have Piper Window, so it's purely hypothetical in how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. He don't have the stress, but like she's fine up. There's photos of her on the plane and smiling, taking photos with teammates. So you think that if you're flying up to Brisbane, you're playing. So I can't imagine they're going to fly up and then they're not going to play, particularly after being a test. So I think they're going to play. And then just before we do get to Corey's question there, Hawthorn forwards, Laura Stone, Aileen Gilroy, Anya McDonough, and Greta Bodie, I think all in their own way could all be options. Do you have what are your thoughts on the 4? Do you like one or 2 more than the other? Obviously, Stone's the cheapest of them and probably got the best role. where would you be going if you're looking for the Hawthorn forwards, obviously being the Hawks, man?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them, and I think really all of them are going to do okay. Like, I think Laura Stone's role is going to be fantastic in the midfield. But amongst the forwards, I've been looking at some of the ones that have done really well recently against the Gold Coast, and it's more of the small forwards rather than the tall forwards. So I think someone like a Greta Bodie or an Eileen Gilroy is probably one that's going to pop off more than the others. But yeah, I really don't think any of them you can go too wrong with. I think all of the Hawthorn forwards are kind of in that 600 to 750-ish K, and most of them should have, at least hit their average, if not go higher. So,
yeah, I agree. That's why I'm jumping on Aileen Gilroy, and I have looked at Greta Bodie as well from time to time as well. Corey Butledger's got a super chat. Thank you very much, mate. He's saying, which option is the best? Conan, G-Prez, and Dunlop to, I'm assuming that's Fleur, Davis, Roberts, and Carney, or Conan, Prasparkas, and Davison to Gardner, Carney, and Charlotte Wilson. So, Tom, where would you go from this one?
So basically, I think the only difference is if you trade out Davison, you can get Gardner, or if you trade Dunlop, you can only get Roberts. I think I'm just going to go and I think I'm getting Gardner. I think I'm just doing the second trade, getting the better player. I do hear you. Adelaide's probably a decent matchup for Ella Roberts. I just don't think Adelaide are going to let another midfielder run around doing whatever they want. That's 3 weeks in a row, and they lost last week.
Lost, yeah.
I just think there's going to be some kind of attention to the Eagles' only elite level player. So I just can't see Ella Roberts being allowed the freedom that Moncon was allowed last week. So I think I'm just going to get Gardner, because she had the worst performing 105 in fantasy history last week. No one's tagging her ever.
Yeah. I think I probably agree as well. And like Dunlop, Jono, you guys spoke about this on your pod earlier in the week that said that Dunlop, there's a chance she loses cash. So she could just undo all that 144K that's there. So you might as well sort of take that, bag it up and use it around the rest of your team. You agreeing with you'd go the first option? Sorry, the second option.
No, the second option. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay, that makes no sense.
They're different options.
Dunlop was in the first option.
Yeah.
So, So, hang on. I probably should have said with Dunlop being in the first option, do you want to cash out of her now, or do you think Gardner's the better upgrade? You go and do that one.
No, I do agree. I think Gardner's the better player. I know Roberts. I do think Roberts will probably score more this week than Gardner, but I think we've got 4 rounds to go. And after that, the Sydney run is pretty good for a couple of weeks. The West Coast run is not. So I would probably prefer over the 4-week period to have Gardner in my team, even though she is a bit expensive and the break-even's a bit high.
Yeah.
I think this time of year, you're prioritizing who you get in as well, not so much who you get out.
Yeah. And Tom, I know we were speaking on the phone about this as well, but the fact that Mimi Hill is out as well, and there's some other injuries in that Carlton midfield, you think probably Gardner's probably going to get to work and put up a pretty good score there. We'll just quickly go through the teams from the Sunday. They've been trimmed. So let's have a look. So we've got Sydney and Carlton. Sydney, so Ash Van Loon, Ruby Sargent Wilson, and Darcy Maloney come in. Sophia Hurley's out injured, so that's unfortunate after just come back from injury. Amelia Martin's been dropped along with Sarah Steele Parks. That'll affect a few coaches out there hoping for some extra cash gen. So you could potentially cash her down to a Charlotte Wilson type in defence. Then for Carlton, apparently the midfielder, Aisling Reedy, who's been named on ball still in the final team. So Tom's getting excited that Reedy's going to be the next coming of Dana Finn for him.
Forward pocket and score a 30 because she's not. She's not. She's going to play on the wing.
That's really kick her off the wing. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Mia Austin also comes in along with Yasmin Dersma. So Tara Bahana's out injured, Mimi Hill's out injured, and Meg Robertson has been dropped. So no Lulu Field, which is very, very unfortunate there. St Kilda and Collingwood. So St Kilda, Alana G, Janome Anderson, Kyla Forbes, and Hannah Stewart come in. Nicola Barr, Bianca Jacobson, Jamie Lambert all are injured, and then Darcy Guttridge is out managed, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure she went off late injured Darcy Guttridge. So I wouldn't be shocked that was an injury as well there.
And
but
barely played this year. Someone who's barely played is managed.
Yeah. So exactly. So a bit of shenanigans going on there.
Everyone else.
Exactly. And then Collingwood, Ruby Slusher comes back in after being laid out last week, along with Annie Lee and Violet Patterson. Carly Ramos is out injured. Maureen Atkinson and Michaela Hyde have both been dropped. And then Fremantle, Sarah Verrier has come in along with Jono. You'll be excited. Anya Tai is in for her first game of the season for Fremantle. And then Gabby O'Sullivan's out injured. And Holly Iffold is also been dropped. That could affect a few coaches as well. Then Melbourne, Gemma Rigoni, Denby Taylor, and Georgia Campbell come in. Shelley Heath is out injured, as we knew yesterday. Alicia Pisano and Maggie Marnie have both been, dropped for Pisano, managed for Marnie. So there we go. So they're the teams. But John, I'm assuming you'll be watching On Your Tide quite closely this week.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think they're the sort of player who they've come back from injury before and just put up massive scores. And I don't think that they really have too low a floor. So I'm pretty excited about what she can do, and she'll be pretty unique coming into the last few rounds. But you definitely want to see the form first. This is probably the biggest risk of a laid out that we've got this weekend, more so than Piper Window in my mind. Yeah, I agree as well. But hopefully she plays. We get a look, and then maybe next week with a good run, maybe we look at it. So Neil S has got a super chat here as well. Thank you, mate. He's asking about trading Zanker to Stone, McLaughlin to Chaplin, and then also Heath to Paxman with a break in a 39 as a 1 week play, considering Heath to Dersma as a longer prospect thought. So, Jono, firstly, I'm assuming you probably tick off those first two trades, Zanker to Stone and McLaughlin to Chaplin. Heath to Paxman, would you do that to make the other two trades work as a 1 week play? Yeah, it surprised me how many people are looking at Paxman this week, because it wasn't something that I had seen necessarily as a likely option. I think Melbourne have a few tough games coming up. So after this Fremantle one, they've got Sydney, Brisbane, Geelong, which are all pretty rough for midfielders. And assuming Paxman's going to hold that wing position, I just don't think I like it too much. I think they're going to keep having that limited time. They're going to have some poorer scores. I think there are probably better options for a 1 week play out there, because, like I did a 1 week play last week with Taylor Smith, and now I'm stuck with it for another week because of what I want to do with my trades. So I think you've got to keep that in mind. If you think your team's in any risk of having to hold them for an additional week, what's the consequences, And I don't really like it for Paxman. Yeah,
no, and I probably wouldn't go for Dersma either. Break even to 69, she's not going to make cash, and you could get stuck with Dersma. I'm assuming then, if they probably wouldn't have the cash to go and get an Emma Carney with these trades, would this be where, if you don't have a Maddie Gay, would you go Chaplin slightly down to a Maddie Gay and then go Heath to an Emma Carney instead? Would that be the better combo?
Yeah, I think so. Like, Chaplin is in amazing form, but also runs into that, and I definitely think that's going to be an issue. I'd go Maddie Gay to start with, although I guess they also run into Brisbane next week. So
I feel like that could be good. That could be good. That could be good though for Maddie Gay. I feel like Brisbane, you think will win plenty of the ball back there. Maddie Gay will probably get a heap of kick-ins and rack up. That's sort of my thinking.
Brisbane is the hardest defensive matchup. Period. I will say that.
They're pretty efficient going inside 50. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. I know you think that, Bales. I don't necessarily subscribe to that myself. I would like, and you're in a similar situation to me, Neil. We just can't shoot for the stars. I know we want the best player we can, but then you're just leaving yourself with dross on the other end. I'd sooner get Thomas and McCormick, for example, than spending all the way up and getting a very good and a very bad who you might be stuck with.
Yeah. I think Carney's a good option, though.
Carney's a good option. Getting Carney, I definitely like. That's probably the best option. Yeah.
I think if
you're just saying, like, you're. Sorry, Johnny.
So I was just going to say, if you're going from Paxman, it's only 20 or 19K up to get to Gab Pound. I know she only had a 48, but that was from pretty low game time. I think as that goes up, like she was an option we were talking at the start of the year. Like that probably to me is a more doable option. As her time on ground goes up, she might start putting up, 70s.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, so you could go Chaplin and Gab Pound if you want to go that route deal. So now you've got a couple of options there. So if you want to go there, feel free. So we got Zai. I hope I said that right, but I know that he's Sun Moon because I know he's been a member of the Patreon. So thanks for the super chat, mate. Very much appreciated. Was planning to do Wardlaw, Kate Hoare, and Neve McLaughlin to Malloy, Roberts, and Carney, but now still Park is an emergency. Should I go her to Wilson, Wardlaw, McLaughlin to Stone and Gay instead? Miss out Roberts to Field Hoare. So, Tom, where would you go here? Do you think still part down to Wilson or Hoare to Roberts?
I'm going to preface this with I assume still parts on your bench. So that's just not a problem.
Yes. Now still parts an emergency. Yeah, I'm assuming that bit.
Yeah. No, still parts an emergency in the game. But as in like in the actual rail, but I assume still parts on your bench.
I can't imagine.
As a result, that's zero problem. That's just cash that you can't lose. It's almost locking in the cash. It's almost a good thing.
I think it's probably more like 4 weeks last week. Probably more if Wilson scores a 40, she might make 40, 50K.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
what he's looking at. I just don't. Wilson is not that good. Like I'm bringing Wilson in on myself at the minute. I get it, but we're forward. We've got like 3 weeks after this week. Like we're not. I wouldn't be getting far worse options in your trade to have a throw at the stumps rookie pick. Like your initial trades look great. I really like them as trades. You're getting off Kate Hoare, who's dropping in cash. So L Roberts who's gaining in cash, and you might be able to get up to the big dog you don't have next week from Ella Roberts. So I definitely prefer your original trades and just bank your Steel Park money for next week to do your next upgrade.
Yeah. Jono, you'd agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely, like, I'm looking at the rookie options this week as they might make money, but this is the last week that they might come in and then still be traded out. From next week onwards, anything that comes in is that we're not going to have enough time to make money. So it's really just bench cover. I don't think it's hugely important. I like the idea of prioritizing on field. Yeah, I'll probably agree as well. But I guess if the cash gen is really, really tight, maybe you need some extra cash gen. But yeah, I'll probably agree. I'll probably do the 3 trades on field there as well. Just got this in one of our group chats, the most traded in players this week. So Charlotte Wilson's actually the most traded in player at the moment for round 9. Then you've got like Emma Carney, Jade Ellinger, Mon Conti, Ash Riddell. Like no surprises who the most traded in are. And then like Heath, McLaughlin, G-Prez, Steel Park, Dunlop, the most traded out. So no surprises with any of those. So, I don't think there's too much discussion with them. I think they're good trade-ins, good trade-outs. Sean says, Dunlop to tipping to free up cash for next week and hold McLaughlin or McLaughlin to Carney. I think I'm McLaughlin to Carney. Do you guys agree with that? Yeah, I'm pretty keen to get Carney this week. I think one of my 2 trade-ins. I think the North run looks pretty good. I like it a lot. Yeah,
and plus McLaughlin's probably going to lose more cash than what Dunlop would. That's the other thing.
There's a good chance that we get McLaughlin back in, but I think we can just wait and see what happens there before we make that jump. Hawthorn's pretty terrible for nearly every scoring line.
If McLaughlin scores a 75, which is a good score, she will be priced at just over 7.
Triple what she scored last week.
Yeah. She will be at just over 700k next week. Like, I think even if you think she's going to be decent for the rest of the year, which I do, like I'm looking at her hard to be a trade in next week, but this week is a trade out. Hawthorn are a green matchup for defenders. But I still think you can definitely trade out of it this week, get the cash, and you can, if she goes well, you can jump back on. She's going to be so cheap.
Yeah, fully agree with that. I'll definitely do that. Luke Bowman, hey guys, thoughts on window to Stone Neve to Libby Birch or any defender 719k or below, and G Prez to Riddell. Or should I forfeit the Riddell plans to get a better defender than Birch? Well, if you don't have Amkani, that is the easy pivot.
He does. He says in the message straight out beneath it does.
Oh, I have Carney ready. Okay, yeah, it would have been good if I read just the next message. How much is Libby? So Libby Birch, if you don't have Eric O'Shea at 720k, just do that. If you got 720k, maybe you're short by 1k. Hope you're not. But if you can do O'Shea, if you can get O'Shea, Riddell, and Stone in, I'd be doing those.
I also don't hate Emily Everest with a very good run for Hawthorn defenders at 709. Because I quite like getting Riddell.
Yeah, I think this is the week to get Riddell. Like, she went up 63k last week. Like, she got Richmond, then Adelaide. We see what Adelaide won't be able to tag Garner and Riddell next week. So, like, one of them's going to go big. I think you just want Riddell. If you can get Riddell now, I feel like she's one of those players that when you get the chance to get her, just get her, and you get a player that's a bit cheaper.
North have the third best run for midfielders for the rest of the season.
Yeah. You're going to want Garner Riddell to finish the year.
Yeah, I think. And if you don't get her this week, you're basically going, I think Riddell's going to average 105 for the rest of the year, and you're just taking her on. So what do you feel more comfortable doing?
Yeah, exactly. But actually, we'll chat about captains, because that reminded me about the Riddell and Garner. We didn't touch on captains earlier. I think we're all going to agree here. Noffy is it's a free hit. Noffy VC, free hit. 95% of us have got a red dot at least. A few have got a couple, and that's me. Hello, I've got a couple. So Noffy VC, Jono, if you have Noffy VC, who's your fullback captain? Because I'm looking at the two North girls. Laura Gardner maybe against a weaker Carlton midfield. Ella Roberts maybe against you can't VC Ella Roberts, obviously, because if you're on Noffy, but who this week are you doing your VCs and Cs?
Yeah, I'm currently looking at Ash Riddell, just because I do think that Garner, it seems to be a little more up and down. Riddell's consistency this year has been out of this world. So I think I favour Riddell, but I'm very much hoping that if Noffy goes anything over 120, I'm taking it pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm the same as well. I'll be taking that for sure. Tom, where you got your VC Noffy as well, but captain?
Yeah, I'm going to do probably Riddell, but I'm strongly debating Garner. I'm going to have to do some weird things with my red dots, so because of just my availability as I play cricket to do the looping tomorrow. If I'm on the field, I can't do, because they play a game after each other. I won't be able to see that score to do because Grace Kosh is my red dot. So I might have to bring in a red dot this week just to make sure that I can do my loop. Well, and that is a thing to everybody. That is a thing to everybody. Is one game after another. If Grace Kosh is your red dot, make sure you're available in that 10-15 minutes between games to get that red dot set up.
Yeah. Well, the question is, do you bowl at all in cricket? That's my question.
What's going to be your next line? Because possibly.
Yeah, but do you normally bowl in ground cricket? Like, you obviously have a set number of bowlers. Do you normally bowl, or are you part timer, or don't bowl at all?
I'm a part time, I would say.
Okay,
I am captain as well.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's up to you.
Say your cap. That's it. Better. Just say I need a water break. I need to go to the toilet, and then just do it then. Just set a timer on your get like I don't know if you got like an Apple Watch or something. Get a like to ding.
I don't.
There, or I don't know. Borrow something for a day. So
no. So that's just a little tidbit for if you've got Grace Kosh and you go in Marinoff. If you're on the ball to set that red dot loop up, to set an alarm if you have to, so you can make sure you get bang that score if you go bang.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm VC Marinoff. I've been on Garner a week. I think if I'm looking at North, not looking at Garner Riddell and looking at the name and just looking at who's played the best. I think Riddell has been the best player in the comp maybe this year, probably along with Ella Roberts. I think any attention will probably go to Riddell. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't think it's going to stop Riddell anyway. I think she's still going to do what she does best, and that's just find the bloody ball every game. But Garner, I'm looking at Garner like the 51 where she got injured, and she was on 51 from just over a quarter, and then 69 against the Bombers in that awful conditions, and Bombers did a really good job of shutting them down. Unless Richmond have really done a lot of homework and done what they're going to do, what Essendon have done, I think Garner could go well. But I think both are going to go well, right? And hopefully Noffy just gets it done. I don't have to worry about, and hopefully we don't have to worry about making the decision between Riddell and Garner. We can just hope that both go as big as each other. So, but yes, that is my current plans there. We'll continue with the questions, and the next question is from Lee Everett. Could you go? Oh, this is a good one, John. I want to get your thoughts on this. Could you go Bowers down to Roberts, and I'll put Conti in the same bracket as well because you've got a low break even. If you're struggling for cash, to go Heath to Carney and then McLaughlin up to Chaplin or Gay. So is Bowers down to get some cash enough, or is it just too risky trading out of Kiara Bowers, who we've seen has got his biggest things down?
No, I think it's absolutely fine. I think she's going to lose cash this week, and realistically, you have to take some risks if you want to try and climb the ranks. And if you've got no cash on the bench, I think this is one of the few ways you can do it. I'd be okay with anyone trading out of her or Laurie Gardner if you've really got no other options. It's just that they do both have excellent runs. So Fremantle's basically got good matchups for the rest of the year. It is a risk. So it is something that when if it doesn't go your way, you've kind of just got to cop it on the chin. But yeah, I'd definitely be okay with it if you've got no money on the bench. I think you're making up for it by getting up to an excellent defender and having the options on the other side. Yeah,
great. Yeah. And sometimes if you've got no cash, you've got to sacrifice a few things, right? It's not like you're going Bowers down to just a rookie, right? You're going Bowers down to Roberts. So it's a very good option there. Would you go Roberts over Conti? Obviously, Conti's got a tougher matchup this week against North. I still feel like North won't probably do too much in terms of tag, and then Conti's probably got the better run for the rest of the year slightly. Roberts has got a good run as well, but you're still just backing Roberts with the better matchup?
Probably.
Just for those contemplating the two. Maybe Lee might just want Roberts, but for those contemplating Roberts v. Conti.
Yeah, I think if your team's in a really good place, I'd definitely go Roberts because you can trade out of it again next week. If you think you've got a few issues, I'd probably lead towards Conti. It's just hard to trade in anyone against North because, even though the break even is fantastic, realistically, what are they going to put up? I think North is going to
100.
Yeah.
Look, Gardner last week 105. I know it was great, but still.
But I think that's the sort of ceiling that you can put up against North. I don't think we're seeing a 110 plus from Conti, and she was so good last week. I can't imagine North aren't planning for what they're going to do about Montcalm.
Something, maybe King does a bit of just check where Conti's and big.
If it wasn't for the North matchup, I don't really care about Collingwood being difficult or anything like that. I think after that, I'd love to have Conti on my side.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how Noffy goes next week against North Melbourne. That's something I'll be really eager to see. Tom, you gonna say something there? You look like
I'm a Roberts owner. I'm just a little bit scared about very scared that they're going to do something different than what they have done in the last few weeks. I think if they beat Richmond last week and Moncon did what she did, I think it would be excellent for Ella Roberts, but they lost. And it's a shock to everybody. So I think something will change this week. I'm not quite sure what it is. That player's going to be able to go with Ella Roberts. It might not be someone that we're expecting.
Just in a few comments as well, just saying that stream jittering for anyone and audio popping a little bit. Looking at here, the stream's running fine on my end. There's no sort of it's saying lagging. I think it's a YouTube issue at the moment because we know YouTube can be a bit funny at times. So apologies for that. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can control, unfortunately, but it's still coming through fine here. So we'll keep pushing along and hopefully you guys can hear at least what we're trying to say. Next question will go to Russell. Better to trade in Fleur Davis R2 or a loop? If you don't have a loop this week, who do you put the C on? So we chatted about the captains just before, but Jono, if you don't is it better to get a Fleur Davis to make a bit of cash, or is it better to go a Tipping or Pasenko, basement playing, or is it better to just get a red dot and just have a red dot there at least as another looper?
Yeah, I imagine if you don't already have a loop, then I would hope that at least a couple of your rookies are going well, and you won't need the cash from a Fleur Davis. So in that instance, I would probably trade in a loop. Having said that, if you've got 5 300k cellar dwellers who aren't going to make any money at all, then maybe the Fleur Davis cash is handy. But yeah, generally, I think I'd prioritize having a loop just because the 2 throws at the stumps is always handy. If I didn't have a loop, I would go Marinoff straight up. I think they're so consistent. It's something we probably haven't acknowledged enough this year, is that she still hasn't gone below 100, which, and every other player, no one's had more than 4 weeks in a row, really. So it's pretty incredible what they've been doing.
Yeah. And I remember the last time that Noffy went below 100, and that was against Gold Coast at On the Oval about 2 years ago when she got tagged by Lucy Single. So that was the last time she's gone below 100. I can't remember the last time. So hopefully she can continue that streak tomorrow against the West Coast Eagles, which I'll be in attendance for. So looking forward to that. I'd love some night games for the Crows. Like, we're getting 12:35 and 2:35, and I'm 40 minutes away. It's a drive, but I'll still be going because I love watching the Crows. Next one we'll go to. So Corey reckons fourth will be the winner. Well, Jono, you and Liam answered a question about Caleb's team last night. He's got a loop of Conti and Hanks. So
it's pretty unbelievable.
Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to. Well, the people around him, are they going to be able to stay around him? But I don't know if no one's catching him.
The team in third has actually got the higher team value, which is crazy.
Yeah, just over 20 million. A lot of the teams a lot of the teams up there have got overnight. So second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth have all got over 19.7 million, which is 600k more than what I've got. And I know Tom, you've got as well.
Yeah. One thing I will say, I don't like the Conti Hanks loop.
I think he's trading it. He's trading this week, though. I think he's trading Hanks.
Okay.
Out.
Yeah, I think it was just Hanks being a big cash moneymaker at the time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Caleb's going like Neve and Heath to like Chaplin and Gay, and he's going to have Watson, Lucas Rod, Gay, Chaplin, and Goodwin with his 5 defenders. That is just the best defense you can get. Maybe Goodwin can go at some point potentially, but yeah.
Good luck, Jono.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm getting that.
Yeah, no, he's got a very, very good team. As Caleb,
that's awesome. Awesome.
Carl's has got next question saying thoughts on McLaughlin to Chaplin, Dunlop to Tipping, and then Conan to Carney. Unsure on Carney's. I had her for a 30, another defender option, or Harris down to Malloy. So Carney got tagged for that 30. So that's Carl. That's why she had the lower score there by Brooker, but I don't think she'll get tagged. I don't think many times with Riddell and Garner, just a couple of okay midfielders in their team. But yeah, Jono, is it Harris to Malloy or is it Conan to Carney if you had to pick one?
I'd probably go Conan out to Carney. I think Taylor Harris has done very little wrong. They have the occasional
good matchup this one.
Good matchup, coming off a good score. I imagine the break even isn't too bad at the moment. I can't remember what it is, but I'd probably hold there.
Tom, we had he's got all these tabs open.
Give me that 58. So she goes to 75. Yeah. She goes up another 45k, gets it over 900k, and you can wave a goodbye and say thanks, Taylor, next week.
And then Malloy next week.
Malloy next week. That's kind of what I'm looking at as an owner.
Malloy's matchup isn't great. Like we saw G-Prez score a bit lower. I wonder if they play a little bit in the mids with how bad Sydney were last week. That's probably the one thing I'll be looking out for. And if she plays mids, then I think she could probably have a good score. But
Sydney's run gets good for the last couple. The last couple are Eagles and Eagles and Essendon. So for the forward end of the ground, that's good for Malloy. The next couple aren't the easiest. They're not super hard like North Melbourne was last week, but it is Carlton and Melbourne. It's not like it's super easy matchups.
It's just not North and Adelaide. That's it.
It's not North and Adelaide. So it swings and roundabouts, right? Like, I think Malloy's a great target this week, but I don't think it's one of those weeks where you're like, you have to get Malloy this week or you're cooked. Like, I still think Malloy's going to be a good option to get next week or even the week after.
Yep, I fully agree with that as well. Grant's asking as well, is like, Tom, do you think the Bulldogs can win against the Bombers tonight?
I think they're favourites. My limited AFLW brain, I would say the Bulldogs are probably favourites to beat the Bombers tonight because the Bombers are horrid.
They weren't too bad last week against Melbourne, but I agree they got a few injuries still, and I've gone Bulldogs in my tips.
And Brittany Gutnett's going to get 25 touches and 10 marks and scoring 103. You heard it here.
Very specific, very specific with the 103.
And if she goes 103, I will be doing laps around Perth tonight, because it will be the most kissed thing ever.
Yeah, that is fair enough as well. But no, we'll have to see how that game goes tonight. Looking forward to that. And the good thing about getting Matty Gay is at least it gives me someone to watch tonight instead of having to watch another Friday night. What have you guys noticed? A lot of Friday night games, Thursday night games have, besides last week with the Thursday night game, a lot of them haven't been as fantasy relevant. They've been teams we don't have many playing, whereas it feels like last week was the only week. So that is something that is very interesting there as well. Ghostbake says, hey, lads, before I ask a question, just wanted to say thanks heaps for your advice and content. Lots of expert insights and helps get through my work week. Thanks, lads. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciate it.
We get Jono on for the expert.
You guys are underrating yourselves there.
Thank you, Tom, for putting us down, but thank you, Jono, for lifting us back up. Ghostbase is the question he's got is prioritised in terms of trade outs. McLaughlin, Heath, Zanker, Wardlaw, Window, Conan, and Dunlop for cash. So a lot of players wanting to trade out.
Heath is number one. She's not playing.
Yeah, he's number one out. I think McLaughlin's then 2. And
I think
Zanker's probably got a good enough matchup to hold another week, and her cash losses stopped at least. Wardlaw's got a high break even, could drop a lot of cash. Conan just dropped to 45, but there's probably better targets if you've got cash to go up. And then Dunlop's losing cash. I feel like Dunlop you don't want to touch because you got a few you want to try and fill.
I would probably do something like Wardlaw to Malloy, Heath to Carney, and then McLaughlin. If you can get to a Matty Gay from that, might be a nice trade.
If not, maybe you could go Wardlaw to Stone. McLaughlin to Carney,
and the only reason I'm trading Wardlaw, she's got cash on her head, so you can try and rearrange those funds. What is Wardlaw at?
837 at the moment.
837.
It's still down, but not hugely.
Yeah, she dropped 84k last week, and I've been an owner.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, so the 107 she was amazing against the Bombers, right? But they were injury impacted in that game. 63 against Richmond. She scraped there in the last quarter to get that 63 with a 25 odd point quarter. The Port game, we know what happened. She dominated, one of the best calls we've seen from an AFLW player this year, and had like a 60-point quarter, but that wasn't looking great. And then last week wasn't great. So I'm just worried that St Kilda and their ball movement that you guys talked about last night, Jono, you and Liam, this probably isn't favouring her at the moment. And the fact she's the only real target up there, she's been double-teamed a lot, triple-teamed I've even seen at times. I just worry that...
Yeah, Wardlaw to Stone. Gets you cash.
Yeah, Wardlaw to Stone. Heath to McLaughlin, Heath down to Carney, and then go Neve up to Matty Gay or Chaplin if you want to go there, or to Lucas Rod if you don't have them. They're also a very good option. Actually, Jono, TLR versus Matty Gay. You're going TLR for the matchup.
Yeah, I think so. I think TLR is a phenomenal choice this week, and I think when we were talking about which players to match on the podcast, I think in defense she's the most important. I'd still have her number one for the rest of the year. Probably even ahead of Chaplin. So if you don't have her, I'd still, or if you don't have them, I'd still jump on.
Yeah.
Given Freo are the greenest of green from Greenland matchup for defenders.
Yeah, so good for Chaplin this week. So that's going to be
they are the second best defensive matchup out of everyone behind Richmond.
There you go.
At a plus. Sorry, I've just paired Jono's interest. Jono's ears just went, woo! Yeah, no. The by far the second best defensive matchup.
Yeah. Ghostbase is saying, which three-player combo is best to bring in? So 2 of McCormick, Ellinger, Thomas, Malloy, Gilroy, Maloney, and then one cheaper option of Carney and Stone. Well, we tossed up, you could go Carney, Stone, and maybe an expensive option. That would be what you could do. But if you want to go 2 of the mid-range options, I think Malloy would be one of them, and it's probably got to be a defender, maybe Thomas or Ellinger. But I think I'll probably still prefer Carney, Stone, and one of the bigger defenders personally. So I'll probably go with that one, Ghostbase. Hope that does help there. Corey said he's 30K short of Gardner with trading Dunlop out. Very, very.
Yeah, but we knew. Yeah, I think you just get Gardner, Corey. Thanks for the super chat.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. Connor van der Ploeg ticking off Conan, Heath, and Dunlop to Carney. Dunlop. I said Dunlop twice there, Connor. I'm not sure who we'd be bringing.
I assume that's tipping. Or a 300K rook.
Yeah, I'd assume as well. So Carney tipping, and then Watson or Gay. Which one of Watson or Gay is the shout? I think, Jono, you guys were saying last night you probably go Matty Gay.
I think I'd go Gay.
Yeah, I'd like Watson. I think at some point I'll be targeting them, but for the short term, I think the break even's pretty high. The matchup isn't great. I'd be waiting.
Yeah, I also want to. It's 97 the break even. It's super high. I also want to watch. Cause I know I mentioned this on a group chat. I mentioned this before, and it might have been a coincidence. Her form really switched around with the Jacobson in earlier in the season. Jacobson's back out now. I just wonder what that does to her role. She had to play much more lockdown at the start of the year, much more accountable, and that really capped her scoring. So that might just be a coincidence. It might just be she took a few weeks to get up to speed and then she was flying. But I'd love to just if you don't own Watson, I think it's a good watch for a week, especially with that high break even.
Agree with that, with the high break even. I think it's a bit more coincidence though. She only had the one real bad game against West Coast, which we know are notoriously bad.
But she didn't have the ceiling though. She was 60s and 70s, not the 80s and 90s, which we want from someone priced at $1 million.
Yeah, I'm looking at the matchup. So like Adelaide, they won and played really well. Adelaide weren't good, and she's got a 70-odd. Melbourne haven't been great for defenders, and she's got a 64. But yeah, it's the form between rounds 3 and 7 that we're looking at, not going below 80. So yeah, great. Watch a week. But yeah, ticking off those trades, Connor. Have an awkward situation where my Loop Hardingham has the first game this week. I know that Jono has got that same conundrum. Anybody know of any 300Ks that aren't playing this week but might next week? Thanks, fellas. I'm assuming you're talking about a ruck there then has, or if you're talking about other positions. John, is there a 300K ruck you think could? Sorry, Tom?
I just wouldn't worry. Just we're so close to the end of the season. No, to be fair, I would just be like, there's nobody you're going to be bringing in that, as Jono said, that's going to be making cash that you could care about anyway. Just get the loop option that you want and need. For example, this week I'm bringing in Hose from Melbourne, just because they're playing the last game that will allow me to do all of my looping, and allow me to VC Marinoff. So we're getting towards the end of the year. Like if you're bringing a player next year, they only have 2 weeks to make cash before it doesn't matter. That the chance of bringing someone who's going to make 150, 200K, which makes it worth it to worry about it, is so small at this time of the year. If they were great fantasy scores and great players, you'd expect them to have been playing before now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. XD Rippo, rank 6, lads. Thanks so much, fellas. Appreciate all the hard work. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. And congrats on being 6th. A very, very good position to be in. So he's asking about Conan to Matty Gay and Richardson to McCormick, or anyone better that's lower. Conan to Chaplin and Richardson to Thomas, Carney, Ellinger. So I'm assuming that's a couple of options you're looking at, John. I don't know if you can decide for that one, John. Where would you go in terms of trades there for XD Rippo's team.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan. Oh. I'm a big fan of Conan up to Gay. I don't think McCormick is going to score better than Richardson this week against Gold Coast.
I think so. Yeah,
matchups. So I'd hold there.
With no Tam Smith. As well. There's some serious chippy coming to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, no. So he's saying Conan to Gain, Richardson to McCormick, or Conan to Chaplin and Richardson to Thomas K. So he's not looking to trade. He's trying. Richardson there in both ones. But
So I was same out.
Yeah, I was deciphering it myself. I probably read it wrong. Yeah, I was like thinking out loud. So apologies about that. That one there. So Jono, apologies. Continue answering the question.
No, that's all right. So I'd go Conan to Gay, and then to be honest, I'm looking at his team now. It's in a pretty good spot. The only things that I really see as upgrades would be Schultz to Wales, or maybe Watson across the Chaplin if you can find the 100K. But to be honest, there's not a huge amount to do. This team is in great nick.
Yeah, well, I was looking at that as well, and Riggs down to a tipping, for example, banks 143K. That would get you almost Schultz there.
Yeah.
Would you could arguably go Conan down to Carney instead of the bigger defender upgrade and get Lucy Wales potentially? That might be where you go. Probably comes down to do you want Chaplin? Do you want like Chaplin / Gay and Schultz, or do you want like a Wales and a Carney, for example?
Are you assuming there's no
trades?
Yeah, I assume there's no
cash funding the first. Yeah.
Kavanagh be going. So you've got 250K. You got 250K to spend, which does Conan to Gay ish. Then I think he needs a slight cash grab. That's what he's thinking about. He needs a slight cash grab. Or to get Chaplin, he needs a slight cash grab, and he has the cash to do Conan to Gay with that initial downgrade.
I'd probably just maybe trade and get cash in the bank for next week's trades again, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be handy for some.
Or if you can do something sideways to a player that, I don't know. There are some players in that 400 to 500 bracket that I see as like fallen premiums that might rebound over the next couple. You could find a way up to a 17th premium if you got a little bit lucky with who you get in. It could be tricky because the players that I would want are someone like a Mackenzie Odley, who's 497. It's probably at the top end there. But that's probably what I'd be looking at more than fixing up Richardson, given the options you'll have.
Yeah, so he said, so actually Ripper says here, I don't have many other trades to do. That's the issue. How sorry for being unclear with the question. 140K in the bank. You had bank from last week. So if he goes Kavanagh down, another 140K to add on top of that. So you could go Kavanagh down. You go Kavanagh down to Charlotte Wilson, for example. That'll bank you 233K.
He's got 373K. He's got 373 to do two trades.
Yeah. I think Schultz
140 plus 2.
Schultz to Wales is something I like the look of, with Wales being a unique amongst the top coaches.
How much is that?
Bruce could be pretty tough for rucks. So I wouldn't think Schultz is going to have a huge match this week.
About 200K to do that trade.
Bella's back in from Gold Coast, though.
It's an interesting one.
I don't think Bella can. She's more of a tap rockman. I don't think she stops anyone around the ground.
I agree, but it might just cap the ceiling because she's not going to get as many hitouts. Like, I'm still saying she's going to be great. But to spend the 200K it's going to cost you, well, yeah, it's 213K. I just don't think it's worth it this week. Just with that in, I think I would sooner do one defensive upgrade, do your Conan to Gay, and then do Riggs down to a 300K, sit there with another 160, 170 in the bank. And that really opens up your options to do literally whatever you want, and you can do that upgrade next week.
Yeah, that's a good play. I probably like that.
Well, it's an awesome side you've got. I find it. I'd be in your position, Ripper, obviously in the men's. These kind of time of the year, you trade out good players to other good players, and you're just hoping your good players score well. So it's not an easy position to be in.
I'm looking at Rippo's team here and going, I ain't catching this. So
No.
hopefully not
No.
every team in the top 100 looks at this. Otherwise, I'm no chance.
That seems awesome. Love that.
5 minutes to go before we wrap up. So we'll go rapid fire with these last few because we've got a few questions still popping through here. So the next question is from Scorched Earth saying Conan to Gay, Prasparkas to Roberts, and Zanka to Stone. They are tick, tick, tick from me. So, and I think we are all ticking those off. I'm seeing nods of heads for yes. So, yeah, we like those trades. I think we answered, was that the same? Yeah, we answered, Connor's question there. He just adjusted it to being tipping instead of thumb up. Yep, so Connor, hope that we answered that one before. Has says, would you go Prasparkas and McLaughlin to Riddell and Carney or Roberts and Matty Gay?
No, Riddell.
I'd go Riddell too. I think they're very good.
Yep, I'll be doing Riddell and Carney as well.
Sorry to be so dismissive, but I think you're just getting us Riddell.
Yeah. Has says McLaughlin in the ruck against Wales this week. Funny enough, I said to Tom on the phone, McLaughlin in the ruck would have made more sense than deep forward because she at least would have been around the ball. So I
really think that calf taping this week explains a lot of what happened last week. I think they were a little bit hampered.
If anyone could have seen me on Saturday afternoon, that would have been probably quite funny for most, but not very fun for me. Damon Snell, in your opinion, what is better value for the rest of the year between TLR and Matty Gay? I think we said before we'd be going TLR over Matty Gay this week. Eliza says, part one, is it Window? Sorry, no, not Window. Is it Wardlaw, Maloney, or Woodland to Stone? I think we're all going Wardlaw. Yep.
It's Wardlaw
as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Woodland stays, even if Window's back because of the other outs, and Maloney's been pretty good. Part two, is it McLaughlin and Georgie Prasparkas to Carney and Roberts, or McLaughlin to Chaplin and a rookie down?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, Eliza. I like that.
I think I'm actually in the camp of McLaughlin to Chaplin and a rookie down, and then you can look at going Prasparkas to Monconti next week. That's what I'll look at doing.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's just have a. What's G Pres?
I think the break-even's like 108.
Yeah,
it's not that bad. I thought it was going to be like 120, and I was getting a bit worried.
How much does she go now if she scores it? How much does she go now if she scores 100? Because we know Georgie Prasparkas starts scoring bang on 100.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Moncon's going to be it's going to be a 200k jump to Moncon next week.
Yeah. I think I'd stick with Prasparkas and go to Chaplin. Yeah. I think they're pretty reliable. It's just one game where they were pretty heavily tagged, and
do you know
most
what
weeks they've been able to work through it.
Do you know what I'd probably do? I wouldn't go to Chaplin. I'd go to Matty Gay, bank the cash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you could do that, that could be something you could do as well for sure.
I probably would save that 100 odd K and just roll into next week, having all of the monies to be able to do G press to whoever you wanted next week.
Yep. No, I like that as well. Isaac Salter, ranked 25 and in strange air. So we'd appreciate the help. Well, firstly, congrats, mate. Very much appreciated. And Isaac, no, sorry, not very much appreciated. Congratulations. I don't know why I said very much appreciated. Anyway, apologies about that. No, you said appreciate the help. That's what I was saying. Okay. It's been a long pod. I think we're wrapping up very shortly. Isaac says trades are Conan and Heath to Carney and Gay. So they will get ticks from all of us, I would imagine. But who should I trade to facilitate that Woodland to Stone or Bowers Gardner to Roberts? Not enough cash on the bench to do a downgrade. I think Woodland to Stone won't bite you as much as Bowers or Gardner to Roberts, just because I feel like Bowers or Gardner could go huge.
Do you know what I probably would do? I wouldn't get Gay. I just get the best defender you can afford, not doing those trades, doing those downgrades.
So I think Woodland's going to go pretty well this week.
Yeah,
like,
I think Woodland's going to go
mid.
Good.
Yeah.
Like, if you say you don't get Gay and you get Charlie Thomas, I think Gay's 20 points better than Charlie Thomas this week, ish, give or take. I don't think your downgrade is going to be more than 20 points. So I think Woodland could go 30, 40 points more than Stone this week. If Woodland went 90 and Stone went 50, no one would bat an eyelid. If Bowers or Gardner went 130 and Roberts went 95, no one would bat an eyelid.
I think Isaac. I don't know if Isaac's set on those two trades because it seems like he just said trades are this, and he's like, who should I do it? So
yeah.
Either do the option, but if you're that keen on the trades, I'd go Woodland to Stone. I think
if you think Gay is going to be the best option for you to gain rank, then do that. That strikes to me someone who obviously 25th that you're trading blokes out. Oh, sorry, you're trading players out who for the sake of it, and you're actually making your team worse with your trades rather than actually trying to improve your team. Yeah,
agreed. Has says thoughts on praying to the footy gods that some sense is kicked into Reece Shaw and McLaughlin returns half back, letting me go press past Ella Robertson shots to Wales. I think you've maybe hold off on shots to Wales or something. I'd probably just be trading Neve out. You could be losing.
You know what?
Cash. The trades are good though, on the face of it.
You know what has, and I'm going to say it, like I think holding McLaughlin, I wouldn't do it and I'm trading, but if you want to go against the field, hold McLaughlin.
Yeah, Zig when everyone zags.
Like that's, you got 4 weeks, and if you hold, you're holding for the rest of the year because she's losing cash, right? But if you want to do something a little bit different, she's going to be very unique. You can hold and pray. But don't come running back don't come and finding me if she ends up playing small forward again, because it's going to be a horrible watch.
This is where we find out, are they a Siren Watson or are they a Georgia Stathis? You know, are you coming back good or are you falling all the way? Yeah.
It's a very, very good comparison. I like that. Will said, Buzz, have you got back to me on the Patreon for a team review? Sorry, mate. Yes, no, it's been busy. I'll send the code through tonight, so I'll have a look at that tonight for you, Will. Apologies about the wait for that one. What do we got here? Logan saying Schultz to Wales, Window to Stone, and Glock to Carney. Am I missing? Who's Glock? Am I missing something there? I don't know who Glock is. To Carney. I'm not sure. Someone to Carney, 20 rank at the moment, so I think I want to jump on Wales pod thoughts, lads. Well, the trade's based on me not knowing who Glock is. I don't know. But you said you are ranked 20, so I can probably have a quick look there. Yeah, Logan's down there. Is it it'd be McLaughlin. Like Glock. McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Okay. McLaughlin. So Schultz to Wales, Window to Stone, and McLaughlin to Carney. I'd tick them off. I think that you can do that. He wants to jump on Wales as a pod. So no, they get ticks from us. Has says actually we'll touch on that one just before we finish up there. Logan says, or he could hold Schultz, downgrade Reed, and grab Chaplin or Gay over Carney. Oh, I think I might be doing that one. Would you guys be doing that? Hold Schultz, downgrade Reed, and grab Chaplin or Matty Gay, and we'll probably go Matty Gay over Carney?
Yeah.
Do that?
Yes.
I'm probably doing that.
Yeah, I'm not as hot on Carney though. But that's just me.
You can get Carney next week, right? Whereas it's probably going to be tough to get on those more expensive defenders. So, yeah.
I worry about
Corey says, is Wilcox an option over Carney? Jono?
If you want to run the... sorry, I'll shut up. I'm done talking.
No. Yeah, I think it's a risky play. Like, I love Riley Wilcox. I've got her in a keeper team. But I do think it's a very risky play, particularly with some of the outs they've got this week at the Dogs. I think they're going to do a little bit of a reshuffle. So I wouldn't be doing it unless you were really needing a big jump.
Yeah, no, great. Isaac said, thanks, fellas. Keep it up. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. John Nichols, or I'm probably reading this question as, is this maybe Will or friend of Will? Maybe they get doing the same trades. He says, what's our thoughts on if I get Lauren Wackfer from Steph Wales? It helps me get McLaughlin to Matty Gay. Well, John, as someone that has looked at or probably knows what Will's doing, is Will bringing in Lauren Wackfer? And would you tick Wales to Wackfer and then McLaughlin up to Matty Gay?
Yeah. At this point, he is still getting whacked for, which I thoroughly appreciate. It's a very high risk play, and I don't think it's necessarily going to pay off. But I think in Will's position, where he's rank 1,000, like that's the sort of play that he wants to try and make a big jump over the last few weeks. And from Steph Wales, who doesn't look like they have the easiest run either, I don't mind the option. I really don't mind it. It is if it's going to get you to a player that you really want, then I think I'm on board with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing it if I was ranked 20th, like we were talking before with Logan.
Yeah. And does say Wackford does have Geelong next week, has the same there as well. Yeah. So that's something to look at as well. But yeah, it's a high risk one, but you could definitely.
If Liz McGrath was out for the season, then Wackford, I'd be all for it. Liz McGrath's an emergency.
No, we know West Coast love changing their rucks.
And didn't make it back into the side. So, I mean, I think they'd be pretty happy with how it's going at the moment.
Oh, Wackford's played very, very well last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would agree, but I'm just scared. We know what my team and rucks are like, and we play about 7 of them. So,
yeah, it could change on a dime at any moment. I fully think it's a very high risk play.
If you're sitting about 700, John, roll the dice.
Yeah, give it a roll. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Is that the same John? Because it's the same name, but it's got different profile pictures for different questions. So either we've got 2 John Nichols in there, or he's changed his profile picture mid-pod.
Different John Nichols has found an opportunity here to just throw it in, cause some chaos.
Yeah. And then we'll do final question. Tim Tom Creation says, "Hey guys, do I bring in Chaplin and Stone or Gay and Malloy?" I think it's Gay and Malloy.
I'd go Gay and Malloy.
Yeah. And we're getting nods. So I'd agree with that. And then has saying, surely Mel's getting whacked for her multi-ruck trades. Yes, no, Mel has shuffled her rucks a lot. So, yeah, hopefully she gets a good ruck, and that is who she wants in her team. But the final one was from Has the Super Chat. Thank you, mate. He's saying Bales directly, but I'll ask this. What's for dinner tonight? We'll go around the room. What is for dinner tonight? I've got no idea what's for dinner tonight. For myself, but Jono, what's for dinner for you?
I think it's a chicken curry, but there's a chance that it's pivoting to a chicken salad according to the amount of rice we have in the house tonight. So trying to figure that out. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's funny. But no, chicken sounds nice. Tom, what are you looking at having?
It's a chicken burger for me, and it's a Brit Gut Next 103.
Oh, there you go. He's willing to existence. He wants a Dana Finn sub 70. He wants a Aisling Reedy prime midfielder, and he wants a good neck 100. So not too much to ask, I don't think. But that will, and that'll do us for another pre-lockout chat. So for those that missed it before, Jono, your trades and your VC&C.
Yeah, so VC, Ebony Marinoff, captain Ash Riddell for the moment. And then my trades are Neve McLaughlin to Emma Carney, Brie Conan to Maddie Gay, and then Brooke Vickers down at the moment to Casey Sheriff, I think is the best of the mid-rookies that I can afford.
How much is Casey Sheriff actually, by the way? I know she's
$332, which is pretty cheap, and she's got a 10 coming out of her cycle. I don't think she's been playing particularly well for the Hawks lately, but I mean, she's a far better player than 332K, so I'm going to back her in.
Yeah, agreed. And Tom, what were your trades in VCC?
So I have Marinoff into Ghana. And to facilitate that, I am doing Neve McLaughlin up to TLR, Annabelle Johnson down to Charlotte Wilson, and Pab Dunlop down to Jacinta Hose to be a lovely red dot.
Yeah, I like it. And then my trades is Dunlop to tipping. I'm not sure if I'll go tipping or just a red dot. I've already got Kosh, so I don't know if I need another red dot. Neve McLaughlin to Maddie Gay and Wardlaw to Aileen Gilroy. That is my trades. And VCC, I've got Marinoff VC, and I've got Garner as my captain at the moment as well. But hopefully Noffy can get it done for us as well. But Jono, mate, thanks for jumping on once again. Always a pleasure talking with you, and particularly fantasy. Where can people find you across the socials? And I'm sure they follow Free Kick already, but if they don't, where can they find Free Kick?
Yeah, and always a pleasure being on. So at Free Kick Jono, you can find me on Twitter there, and then at Free Kick W Pod across all the socials for anyone looking for us.
Yeah, Beautiful. Thank you very much, mate, for jumping on. Tom, mate, where can the people find you?
You can find me on X at Tom_Hales_.
Yep. And you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials and us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. If you are tuning in on YouTube and you are tuning in live now, make sure you do smash a big thumbs up on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. Subscribe if you have not already as well. Still got content for a few more weeks to go. Plus, there'll be an AFL Fantasy Men's podcast dropping probably in a couple of weeks, recapping the trade period. And then we'll go into a bit of I'll go into my first hiatus for the year for a few weeks. That'll be nice to have a few weeks off. I was doing a pod every day, it feels. Yes, and if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcast, 5-star rating and review would be very, very much appreciated. And we'll catch you guys on Monday for our round review. So good luck, have a good weekend, and enjoy the footy. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, good luck, all. Bye.